in fact, by the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of KEC International, Vimal Kejriwal. Thank you so much, Mr. Kejriwal, for taking the time for joining us on the market. Could you take us through how the context looks, what it looks like on the ground right now? Do you see a lot of potential at this juncture in the infra space? And what could the overall numbers look like based on what you're seeing on the ground?
Good morning, Alex. I think the ground situation looks pretty good. We have never had it better in terms of business growth. Our order book is close to 20,000 crores. We have an L1 of excess of 7,000. So put together more than 27,000 crores, which is a record even for us. And if you look at business-wise, it's been international T&D for us, which is basically driven by Middle East. We have railways, we have civil. Civil would include, urban infra, metro, and yesterday we announced our first airport order also. So I think overall on the revenue side, on the order intake side, I think we are seeing a lot of action happening on the ground.
Could you specifically speak to us about Spur Infra? How is the acquisition going to help you out?
Sure. So Spur Infra is a EPC company engaged in laying of oil and gas pipelines and city gas distribution network. We acquired it for a all cash consideration of 62 crores, 100% equity. It's a zero net debt company, has an order book of more than 600 crores and has been doing a turnover in excess of 100 crores for the last 3 years, has been profitable from day one. So our view is that if you look at the oil and gas pipeline EPC business, it's been generally a business of around 6,000 to 7,000 crores per year. Even last year in the COVID time, it did around 4,500 crores of ordering happened in that business. So our view is that on the back of this acquisition, we will get a lot of pre-qualifications and we will be able to bid in that business. We have been trying to be in this business for the last 1 year. We acquired some capability, we built a team and all that, but unfortunately we were not successful in getting orders. See, this is a very strategic business, safety angle, security angle. The PQs are very tight. So you will need to ride on the back of someone who already has the PQs. That was the basic need why we went and acquired this company. And it's a new company, 5-year-old company. So very, very clean balance sheet, zero net debt, etc.
Sure. Vimal, hi, morning. What about your other businesses? How is the execution picking up there? Because, you're present into just so many verticals and sectors. And if you could help us understand as to which sector is experiencing the most traction in terms of new orders and investor interest.
Thank you, Aisha. So the maximum traction which we are seeing today is in urban infra. That's basically metros. Huge amount of traction both on the civil side, that's building viaducts, etc. And the non-civil side is once you have built the viaduct, then the track laying, signaling, power supply, etc. So that's an area where we are doing very well. We announced an order from Chennai Metro a couple of months back. We are L1 in another large order which is included in our 7,000. And we also got a few orders on the non-civil portion. So that's one area which is doing very well. The second area which is doing well, I think, is the water supply. Okay, with the mission of giving clean water, etc. There are a lot of large projects coming up on water pipelines where you lay water pipelines from the intake and purify and supply it. That's another large business. So to me, those are the two areas where you're getting large businesses. Then international T&D has been doing very well, especially on the back of the stable oil prices of around $70. We are seeing a lot of action happening in UAE, especially Abu Dhabi and Saudi. These are two countries where we are seeing continuous flow of tenders and orders. So I think these are the two areas. And third one is railways. Railways, we are seeing a lot of action on the technology side, on speed upgradation, improving the signaling and telecommunication, improving the train collision avoidance system, etc. So we are seeing not the very traditional electrification and laying of new lines, etc., but on modernizing and increasing the speed. Those are the areas where we have got a lot of orders. Even what we announced yesterday has got one large order on the speed improvement.
Sure. Vimal, what are you feeling about whether or not the capex cycle is actually seeing an upturn here in India, which could help companies such as yours? And how's the government really seen to be taking part in this big upturn in the capex cycle which is taking place?
As I said, the maximum orders we get are from government in any case. Almost 90% of our order book is from the government. If I include the metros in the government spend. So maximum spend which is happening is on metros, I'll say followed by railways, a little bit spend happening on the power side. But let me talk about the private investment since we are in civil and we do both residential and industrial, industrial, let's say factories, etc. So we are seeing a lot of action on the cement and the steel side, or I'll say metals. So cement is, we are there with virtually every cement company and inquiries keep on coming for building new cement plants. Same thing is happening on the steel side. And we have now started seeing some action in the other metals like aluminum and zinc, where people want to expand their capacities. Other industries, we have not seen much, although some inquiries from pharma and chemicals and a little bit of coming from warehousing. The other space which is seeing action is data centers. A lot of companies aggregators are trying to build data centers. That's a place where we are seeing some action happening.
Okay. What is the outlook then in terms of the actual numbers? I know that I asked you this, Mr. Kejriwal, at the start, but specifically, if you were to talk about top line growth, we talk about bottom line growth for the current financial year, based on what you have, based on the acquisition that you made, and based on the order book that you have. What kind of guidance can you give us?
The acquisition will take some time in the sense that it's still a small company of 100 crores and all that. So by the time it becomes, let's say, 800,000 crores, it will be 2 or 3 years. So it will not add significantly this year. From next year onwards, we'll start adding something. As I said, our order book plus L1 is around 27,000 crores. Last year, we did a turnover of around 13,000. So we have been talking about doing a minimum 15% increase in turnover this year, notwithstanding whatever issues we faced in COVID. But of late, I think our execution are all back on track, not much impact of COVID. Margins is something which is still continuing to be under pressure, mainly driven by the headwinds from the raw material prices. Although steel prices have started to soften a little, just a tad a little bit, but not much. And also base metals, although we are seeing huge volatility in both in copper, etc. So I think we will face some pressure on the bottom line, but I think on the top line, we are very, very comfortable.
Okay. But specifically, can you talk about the international operations and the execution there and the outlook as far as how you see that side of the business doing?
International in terms of order intake has never been better. We are pretty happy with what we are. And even if you look at our current L1 of 7,000, more than 50% is from the international market, be it countries like Bangladesh or Saudi or some parts of Africa and even some part of CIS. So we have I think L1's opportunities spread virtually everywhere, but more focused on Middle East. Execution was a bit of a challenge in the earlier part of the year because of the travel restrictions, etc. But now that restrictions have been, eased out a lot, like now we can travel to Oman, Abu Dhabi, where we have a lot of projects, Saudi, etc. So we did face some headwinds in the international market in, let's say, in the Q4 and Q1. But now those headwinds have sort of gone away. So I think international execution will now pick up. We have a large order book to back it up. So I think from this quarter onwards, international will really start picking up. And next year, we should have at least a 20-25% growth in the international business.
Vimal, good to have you on the show. Thanks as always for taking the time out and joining in with that perspective.
Thank you.